Peace and love, world. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Zoe. This is episode 33 titled Raised on Survival and Not Love. This goes out to all of us who were raised by our parents or grandparents or an aunt or whoever our legal guardian was. They were doing the best that they could. And I know a lot of us as adults, this is to my adults, this is to my preteens and teenagers, for anyone, all ages. We all have resentment. We feel let down in many ways. But I'm here to tell you that when you grew up in survival mode, you were just trying to literally survive. How are you gonna put the next meal on the table? How are you gonna pay the rent? How are you gonna fend for yourself, the clothes on your back, keep the lights on, pay the rent? Those were all things that was top priority. So that was their form of success. They kept all the lights on. Lights were never off. Food was always in the fridge. Clothes on your back. May not have been new, but it was clean and decent, and you could wear it. Maybe you didn't have multiple pair of shoes, but you had at least one for church, one for school, sneakers. You had your 3 pair of shoes. You had your 1 boot for the winter. For them, that was their main priority. Now for us, dealing with our emotions, this is where it gets heavy. This is going to be not the typical high energy episode, but it's a more of a mellow, loving, nurturing tone because a lot of us are living with a lot of resentment towards these people, towards our parents, towards our guardians, towards our grandparents, who in their mind, love comes last. And now that we're such a vocal generation, an emotional, vulnerable generation, very expressive, for the majority of us, it's like love comes first. Happiness comes first. So take a second and dissect this, because what are your priorities and what are their priorities? And once you start to embrace and understand what they were going through and what they had to survive, that they were not raised on love. They were raised on survival. So in their mind, they're all in survival mode. Every day playing defense, trying to score as much as they can. And that's what life was about. Life wasn't about hugs. Life was about go sell that bread, for my mom. My mom grew up in Honduras, one of 6, oldest daughter, 4 younger siblings. My grandma came to America and left my mom when she was like 13 years old. So my mom she wasn't a normal 13-year-old. She was technically a mother of 4, So for her, what was she going through? She was going through making it, learning how to cook. My mom's a phenomenal cook, but that's from a life skill that she gained. She's softened up a lot. She's still stuck in her ways, but we have a better, healthier relationship because I don't blame her no more. Love was the last thing you were worried about. And as we get older, all of us share a certain story of resentment, feeling let down and disappointment. That is deterring us from really being and becoming our best self. And I'm here to let you know that it's all right. You're not the only one who feels this, but it's important that you learn to cope with it. They may not ever change, and you have to be okay with that. But I think if you embrace their circumstances, and the same way you have empathy for your favorite artists and their struggles and upbringing, is the same way you should have that same kind of empathy towards your parents or whoever raised you. We find it in other places, but somehow when it's close to home and there's love involved, true love involved, it's kind of hard to really hone that in, bring it all home. So listen, we value different things. We're not working in mills and factories and companies and doing really hard manual labor. We have a choice that we love teaching. We can go do that. If you love entrepreneurship, you can do that. When you're raised with limited choices and you got kids and you got to put the food on the table, like, trust me, they love us, but expressing that is not top priority. Energy is wasted in getting into my 3 jobs and making sure my kids are good. That's their mentality. So it's not that they're not trying to show you love. It's that they're on survival mode. I hope this does well and does justice for somebody. I know it will. Feel free to reach out to me. We can talk. We can share experiences. I can hear you out. God gave me 2 ears and 1 mouth. So I can hear you out. If you want feedback, I'm here for it. If not, but either way, we got to move forward. We're ruining relationships. We're not able to have relationships. We're filled with insecurities and self-doubt. Like we don't deserve to be loved, but you do deserve to be loved. And you're going to learn to love yourself. And then you're going to learn to love your parent for what they could do and doing their best. Raised on survival and not love. Peace and love, world.